Yeah, welcome to Coffee and Cannabis. I'm your host, Alyza, and this is
Corey. What's up?
And we're both exhausted. So just a quick warning, with the day that Corey and I both have, you're lucky that we're smoking any weed and drinking any coffee. So I want zero criticism about this Bodega bought coffee.
Yeah, we did what we had to do.
We did what we had to do to be
Big
here
box
for you.
coffee.
La Colombe. Yep. And what we got for Bud, Core?
We are still smoking that Droop Pop.
All right, nice.
That house arrest. Shout out Droop.
I know he blessed us with some packs, so we've been busting it down.
Why are you dressed like a thug today?
I'm just like a thug.
You like a cute thug.
A cute.
Yeah. You like the chick that hang out with all the niggas that be on the block with them? That's you.
My wife told me I look like Aaliyah.
I can see that. You get a little bit of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll take that more than on the block with the homies type shit. But you see, we dripped out. Coffee and cannabis. Yo, every time I hit this, it really gets. They might think that we're just trying to do like commercials and shit, but I swear I'm not gassing. This really is irony. Gas.
Yo, put some respect on the name. We got the Coffee and Cannabis lighters. You see, she got the Coffee and Cannabis shirt and hat on. Big merch gang.
Oh, I forgot I had the hat on.
You know what I mean? Those that don't know, we got the toss plates. You know what I mean? It's big toss worldwide energy right here.
Can we talk about this though too? Because that's the key right there.
Oh yeah, the little shovel pad strong. Put it back in the bag when you're done. Yeah.
Great trays.
You know, we got the Toss Worldwide T-shirt. You know
Yes.
what I mean? Holla.
One of my favorites.
You know, big merch energy. Big merch energy.
Yes.
Go to our website.
Great quality.
You know what I mean? Check us out at Nican. We're going to be flipping them packs.
Oh, yes. Anything you see here, we're going to have available for you at Nican. Shout out to Nican and 420 NJ Events, Stan B. They got the whole state really on tilt. I was about to say the city. They got the whole state on tilt right now. Nican is probably going to be one for the books, to be honest. And the after parties are 1,000% going to be one for the books. So show up, show for yourself, come here. The different type of panels, things people are saying about the cannabis industry, learn, educate yourself. I'll be there doing a panel. And
Yo, stop being humble.
Why?
Talk about it. You on the shit. All over the shit.
Just come. It's going to be a great time. You're going to learn some things.
We selling shit. You're
We're
presenting.
gonna sell some things.
You're doing a round table. I don't know, some shit. You're doing more shit than I don't even remember at this point.
I'm doing a lot of shit.
I'm just coming.
Fucking come.
I'm just showing up.
Oh, no. No. The most important, well, I mean, I say most important, but one that's inclusive of this family is the podcast. You're going to do that. So we haven't talked about that either. And before we get to it, like, comment, subscribe. A couple minutes in.
There we go.
Yeah, I'm getting better. Where was I going with that?
I don't know.
Oh,
You told me what
podcast.
I was going to be doing.
Podcast. You see, that's why I can't like, comment, subscribe, but it fucking throws me off. How do you YouTubers do it? Like, just
hit the bell.
It's so confusing to me. So we're gonna do a live filming at Nican. And it's going to be a AC special edition. I love Atlantic City, by the way. I don't know if anybody, fun fact about me, here from Jersey City, but Atlantic City is, I love that city. And we're going to do a special edition of anybody who's involved in the cannabis industry down there, licensees, people that have other kind of brands, legacy brands, whatever. If you're from Atlantic City, you've been doing it and moving in the city, let us know. We're going to have 20-minute slots. We have a couple of people locked in right now, but, we want to hear from you guys. So if you have interest, this whole Nican edition is going to be just for Atlantic City people. So it's going to be exciting. We have a sofa that's going to be in our little setup area. We're going to have a whole pod set up, so it's going to be a great time.
I was not aware of any of this. I came to get high.
Corey just comes. But I'm glad he listens. I'm like, Corey, we got to go do this. He's like, all right.
Just tell me where to be.
All right, so there's a reason why you see the two of us here today. One, Labor Day is coming up. He just does this thing. Labor Day is coming up. and we're going to take a little break. One, because NECAN is coming up, and that's taking a lot from us and our team. The school semester starts, as you guys know. I teach at Hudson County Community College, so if you haven't, go register, enroll, take my class. It's online this year, which is going to be great because now we can have greater reach. And, you know, back to school, we got kids. It's a lot. So we're going to take a little break, but Corey was like, yo, before we do that, you know everything that's going on right now? Like, there's a lot of crazy shit going on. And he's like, we need to do an episode, just me and you, because we need to discuss this. He's like, actually, we need to have a State of the Union.
Oh, yeah, we'll just talk about life and things that's going on. First of all, shout out to Puffin. They just had a soft opening today. So it'll be like a week ago by the time y'all see this. But
okay.
Yeah, another black-owned dispensary situation there.
Puffin is black-owned?
Partially.
Okay.
Partially, but the dude...
I haven't been following anymore.
Yeah, but the dude, good dude I've met a couple times, and used to be the compliance director for Ascend.
Oh, okay.
So, cool dude.
Yeah. All right. Shout to them. Shout to... Where are they at?
Puffin is in... right down the block from Earth and Ivy in New Brunswick.
Oh, shout out MB.
On the same street.
Yeah, you know, we roll around there. Rutgers alum and all that.
Yeah, went there.
Not me, the family. Wifey, Corey, you know. So, State of the Union. That's a big one. But to be honest, when you said that to me, I'm like, this corny. What is he talking about? And then I thought about it. And I was like, I like really took it back. The stuff that you want to touch on is some real like right now shit, but also just an overview of like what's happening, because it's August. In July of last year is when we had went to the Jersey City Board.
Correct, yeah.
And got approved. And then we received the state one a little bit shortly after. So this time period was really when we like got our green lights. Not when we started.
Yeah.
But, you know, after you put in the application, you have to sit for a couple months. Then we got pushed.
Yeah.
So that had us go back.
It's a long
yeah.
It's a long work.
It's been a road.
It's still going.
Yeah, seriously, we're still in an empty dispensary. That's wild. But one whole year has passed, and you look at what's been going on in terms of how many facilities have opened, how many people threw in the towel. They couldn't do it. They were in municipalities that, you know, were not getting it together fast enough and, you know, bankrupting them. Money running dry, a lot of predatory stuff happening. Like, to watch a whole year of like craze and nonsense, and then to see it now happening across the water.
Yeah.
You're like, wow, history really repeats itself. Like, not even over a large lapse of time. Like, you guys are just, and it's a different type of beef. But the point is that it's all around messy legislation, messy politics, failure to have better transparency, a lot of issues there. So that's my spiel. Corey, go ahead. Break it down for them.
Well, first and foremost, the whole state of New York, cannabis is just fucked. And that's just the truth. The OCM, you know, has dropped the ball considerably. You know what I mean? Like, weed's been legal there for 3 years now at this point. Yeah. Yeah.
When you say that, like, explain why that really, because, you know, I think one of the things is like people say things just based on opinion, like, oh, these people did it bad or these people did it worse. And it's like, no, make it make sense for people. Like, why does it? Because sometimes these organizations don't think that they're doing it bad. And when you just complain about it, it's like, all right, well, we already heard we're doing bad, but why do you actually think that? What are your metrics to say this is actually a failure?
So New York has the 4th highest population in the country.
Okay.
That's the first part. So we're talking about a very large state, a lot of land mass to cover, that touches other states that have legal cannabis situations, and it has the 4th highest population, and 65% of that are in one place, New York City, and the surrounding area, right? So huge opportunity. It also has one of the strongest black markets in cannabis in the United States. It sure does. So they also helped recreate the black market there. Yeah. The black market already exists in New York, especially in the city, right? Up northern New York State, you get more people home growing and stuff like that, but whatever. You make it legal, so won't get arrested having it, won't get arrested smoking it, can smoke it out in the public. Like if you're in Manhattan, you can walk down the block and just smoke.
Yep.
So it's legal to have, but you can't legally buy it anywhere without a med card. That's the first 2 years of legalization in New York. Legal to have it, legally can't buy it.
Yep.
So what did you help foster and strengthen?
Right.
The black market.
Right, because where do you think people are getting it from?
Yeah, because I still got the weed, so where did it come from, right?
Right.
And then even besides that, so someone would argue, well, no, you can get a medical card. The medical card situation in New York was abysmal. Like I said, 4th largest population in the country. Really only 1 million people difference from Florida. Florida's medical program had like 4 or 5 times as many people in it than New York.
Really?
So comparative populations, comparative cultures of just a lot of weed. It ain't hard to find weed and coke and everything in Florida.
Right.
Same thing with New York. Their medical market's 5 times bigger.
Wow.
With less operators.
Yeah.
So there's that part, right? So their medical program was already trash. You allowed the black market to do their thing for 2 years, and they've really only have given licenses to like 20 dispensaries in this past year.
Yeah. And that's nowhere near enough
you could
for the population.
20 dispensaries in Manhattan alone.
Yeah, easily. Yep.
And it wouldn't be crazy. So,
well, just for perspective, here in Jersey City, what did their final ordinance, they had that thing that going back and forth with the cap that they were going to put.
28, 30, what was it?
I think it was 40. I think it might have, a matter of fact, I'm lying. I think it was 48 because it's 12 in every ward and then 2 consumption lounges in every ward. Okay. So 48, so you just said Manhattan. Jersey City is, Manhattan's significantly bigger.
Yeah, so the medical market's trash. The rollout was trash. They helped the black market exist even more. And then even once they got everything together, got everything set up, that rollout has been too fucking slow, right? And then you get into the most recent situation with the card memberships. And mind you, we've had 2 of the biggest card people on this show.
Yep.
We've had Jeremy Rivera. We've had Cos Marte.
Yep.
Right? Both of those dudes were within 1 week of opening their store.
No.
And then you have an injunction come through that ceases all progress. The injunction is a weird one, right? So I know we on the fence on that one. So you have an organization representing veterans, military veterans that wanted to open dispensaries as well, basically sue the state for how they handled the rollout of these licenses, right? So based on state law, state legislation, you can Google all this stuff. All of these kind of programs have to include veterans. And no veterans have, to this point, been given a license or been accepted, their application accepted. So they had a right to sue to say, hey, you're cutting us out for some reason on basically any kind of social equity play. You're cutting us out, right? Fair. But by doing it the way they did it, they also completely halted cannabis, period, in the state. And the people that they're hurting, in this sense, are people that have similar, different situations too.
From a legal perspective, former felons are not a protected class.
Understood.
Based on how the legislation is written.
But in the cannabis world, helping those that were impacted is part of the deal.
You're right. But the argument is that they didn't follow the legislation, right?
They didn't follow their own legislation. Yeah.
Right. I think my argument here is the injunction. That's the part that's a little bit confusing to me. The other part of it is just a battle of terminology, really. Mm-hmm. They said that they wanted to have these certain, it's usually people that have certifications, right?
Yeah.
That's not included when it's someone who has, a charge. But at the same time, the right thing to do is repair the damage that you've done in the war on drugs, right? So they rightfully both make very much the same amount of sense. Mm-hmm. And I would definitely equate them here very equal, but the injunction.
The injunction is
that's the weird part. Why just say fuck everybody now?
Yeah.
Like, I can't win, you can't, like, I'm not, and listen, I don't know the details of like why that was a part of it, or if that was even a part of the lawsuit, if that's just a part of the process. I haven't dug that deep to understand that part of it, but I'm just speaking from like the definition of what an injunction is. I don't think that it was necessary to say, now no one eats if I can't eat.
Yeah, because my whole thing is, if those that are fighting on the veteran sides already don't have their dispensary built, already don't have all these other things, like making a dispensary takes like a year and a half to do.
Yes.
So if, let's say they win, does no one get a license for the next year, year and a half?
Yeah.
Because unless they have one built and all they just need to do is order product to put in their vault, how long do we wait?
That's pretty unlikely.
So you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like Jeremy and Kaz and Jason and all these dudes, they just need to put product in their vault. They are ready. And they're doing the community service. They're doing the work.
They're doing the work. They are doing the work.
Like Jeremy left his,
work.
You know, he was successful, left his business and has stopped all that to open his dispensary.
Yep.
His dispensary was opening in a week. Like,
yeah,
you need money to do that. Kaz talking about like all the people, you know, that he has already hired. These people thought they were about to have a job and make money.
Yeah.
And now they're not making no money. It's impacting a lot of people. And for real, keep it a buck. We had a similar situation in Jersey City where an individual felt the need to sue the state. Sue the city on how they were handling the licenses.
Yep.
And Paul almost caused a moratorium. The difference was, the response to that was, we're going to pause, but all of you that are right at the line, we're going to let go.
Right.
Which we were one of at that last city council meeting.
Yep.
And then we're going to figure some stuff out.
Right. Right.
So they didn't, like, people that had already got to a certain point in the process were allowed to continue.
Yeah.
Right? The other part is, Jersey City's like the second biggest city in the state. Like, that's income. That's tax income. That's income that's supposed to do stuff. You're talking about organizations that are giving back. Like, think of this, like, your neighborhood bodega. In order to open it, they didn't have to, like, sign paperwork to guarantee they're going to give back to the community.
Right.
Right? The Burger King didn't have to do that. The McDonald's didn't have to do that. Your local bank didn't have to do that.
They don't even make the liquor store do that.
Like, some businesses, like when you go to build your stuff and you get approvals, you might put a beautification project in there, help, support the park or something like that.
Right.
Cannabis applicants have to give back.
Yep.
Literally, like, one of the things on the application, like, has to be built into your whole thing.
Yep. And then you have to also convince them that you were doing work before.
Yeah. You had to be doing work before to say you're going to do work in the future.
Yep.
And then every year you got to renew your license and prove that you did it.
Yep.
Right? So it's just wild to say, no, this is the group we should stop. Right? We should stop them.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, right now.
This is the group we should stop.
Yeah, we should stop
These are the
them.
only people that we're making do stuff in the community.
We should stop them and run them dry of their funds so they could stop doing the community service.
You know, Corey, sometimes it does just come down to common sense. Like, I just wonder, I'm like, that's why I keep saying, like, it's the injunction for me. It's not the law. Listen, it is what it is. Yeah, you wrote the legislation how you wrote it, and whatever those titles and those codes and everything that you have to follow, if you don't include the people that are included in that language, then you're wrong, period.
Yo,
and I'm part of that group, so what's up?
Yeah, and
you know what I'm saying?
My
like,
family too,
yeah, that's how it goes. But that doesn't mean that somebody saying I need to be included means that you need to now exclude everybody. And to your point, you are doing it to the people that are the only people doing shit in the community.
Yeah.
Whether it's
and jobs.
It's your
best opportunity for
and tax revenue
for additional tax revenue and new jobs, right?
And to simmer the black market.
Well, yeah, that too. Like, shit, if I'm random Weed World trucks, I'm happy as hell. Real talk. Like, right now, you better off having an illegal dispensary than trying to get a legit one. For real, like, right? Like, why would I try to have a legit dispensary in New York right now? They can't even figure out how to give the licenses.
Yeah, you ever seen like the new thing trending is when people would talk about the audacity. I seen somebody with this shirt. It was like, it's the audacity for me. Yo, New York is the epitome of audacity. How the fuck next to Madison Square Garden, there's the most elaborate dispensary. Like, Corey, there is no low about it. They don't give, New Yorkers don't give a fuck.
Yeah, shit. They were talking about the Weed World trucks. Ooh, they took
impounded them for the tickets.
They impounded the Weed World trucks. Them shits was back out the next day, and Weed World went and built an actual brick and mortar.
Sure the fuck did.
It was like, all right, well, fuck the trucks. We just built a store now. Fuck y'all.
Yo, I saw Weed World in New Orleans. They are, they don't care.
They're a MSO. Weed World's an MSO.
Basically.
Yeah. So, like, that's what I mean. Like, if you go to Cali, growers are going to tell you they were better off growing illegally than trying to grow legally with the square foot taxes that a lot of towns are doing. And if you're in New York, you're better off having a legal dispensary.
Yeah. Yeah. The other part of it is the make sense part. And it's like... you have these people who are the diversity people, right? Mm-hmm. That you've hired to go out in the community and have these connections, change and break the stigma, right? Whatever. You're doing all the advertisement all over the billboards and the bus stops. Don't smoke high. Don't do this, right? Yeah. Everybody wants to change the game and the narrative. And the whole point of this program, and basically breaking whatever codes that they did break, the whole point of it was to repair the damage done from the war on drugs.
Yeah.
If that was the whole point of it, and now we are stopping that for them to then go bankrupt and never even open, we're doing just as much harm as the war on drugs as we are by telling someone that we're going to give them a dream, they pour their all into it, and then you run them fucking dry.
Well, think of it.
No one realizes how serious that is, Corey.
Well, the head of that board, the head of OCM is Tremaine Wright.
Right.
Who was a politician, black woman, wonderful person. I have nothing bad to say about her. But her whole platform was repairing the injustice from the war on drugs. And that's why what Cuomo signed is so favorable to that, because she was there.
Yeah.
And then they took so long to make it a reality that is exactly what they're stopping.
Yeah. And Cuomo's situation was part of the problem.
Well, the only reason it got legalized was because he had a problem. If everything was peachy, he wouldn't have did it. He just kept holding on to it. It's like, I almost got you. And then he got in trouble, and he was like, you can have that shit. Let's get it going.
I don't want them to see what's happening over here.
What you say, Tremaine? Agreed. What you say, Tremaine? Agreed, yeah. Y'all can have it. Right? And that's literally the thing that's holding up now.
Yeah.
3 years later.
That's crazy.
That's wild.
And the way that the landscape has changed in New York between COVID happening and a lot of stores shutting down to all the illegal shops that are coming up and that will just pop up in really any space. Right? There's like no restrictions. It's not close to a school or a church.
You legalized it. It could be wherever.
It's a sad story. What do you think? I mean, what do you think's gonna happen?
They're probably gonna make a deal. They'll make some deal that the next round will be for veterans specific. Veterans will have priority. They might agree to a certain amount of those. They might say, okay, well, how many members does your organization represent? We'll fast track those applications. It'll be some backdoor deal that none of us really know about. But, to stop for something that already basically hasn't happened for 3 years, to just stop it on a dime like that is nuts.
And the stores are like ready.
Well, here's the other thing.
Ready. That's foul.
Here's the part nobody's going to like. If you'd have just let MSOs convert, this wouldn't be a problem. If MSOs were already there, already had product, already had grows, already had distribution channels. MSOs already distribute between each other.
Right.
And there's not that many of them. There's 40 MSO-owned retail locations in the entire state. And that's the whole state, not the city.
Right.
And they were super controlled back when it was the DOH and not the OCM running it about where they could be. Like the company I worked for had one in Long Island, one in the city, and then two in in upstate New York. Like super spread out. Really sucked to run it and drive product all over the state. But I get it. So there's only 40 in the whole state. If you'd have let them open, it would have opened the legal market. It would have suppressed to some extent the illegal market, and then you could have started getting your application going, and there probably wouldn't be as much infighting because the market is existing, right?
Yeah.
Like, the reason it's taking so long to get it going in the first place is because they wanted to cut the MSOs out. So these people that are opening these dispensaries right now, they can't buy from an MSO for the most part. Right. They have to buy from other people that just got their grower's license, manufacturer's license, right? Yep. So they had to wait all this time for all those things to do. You had a hemp farm, now you're going to convert it to cannabis farm. Okay, that takes 5 months.
That is a much longer process.
And now it's got to go, oh, you got a manufacturing license? Okay, I'm going to give you time to convert it and build up enough stock for us to open the market. Oh, everything's cool with that? Okay, yeah, now we'll do retail location. Yep. That's why it's taking so long. Yep. But you already had a group in the state that figured that out ahead of time.
Yep. And could have just got the ball rolling.
Yeah. And that's why the Jersey market is doing so much better than the New York market.
Right. Because that's what I was going to say. Because then those smaller guys just also order from the MSOs, which, listen, is a big complaint of a lot of people, right? That's a big, like, everybody is just selling the same weed. But now, that is also how you get the market started. People don't realize we're really seeing something built from the ground up. Like,
the full infrastructure.
Yes. Yeah.
But see,
that's a big deal.
And here's the other side of it, right? The other side. You didn't catch it, yeah?
I didn't. I'm too good. You are good.
You let the MSOs start. They already have production, have cultivation, have distribution channels. They already sell product between each other, so they've built all that infrastructure. Now, as the independents come in, there's a structure already built for them.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I know about a dispensary that's opening in 2 weeks because I'm fulfilling their order at my job right now, right? So they went through the process. They got their stuff. They're opening up. They're ordering products. We're getting it to them. They're having it in their vault. And now they're ready to open. And it's smooth and clean. Yep. Because the infrastructure is already built. Yeah. They don't need to worry about finding someone for a delivery license or a distribution license. Right. The MSOs already have that built in, right?
I know. That is quite the challenge.
So instead of trying to work out a deal with another person that's an entrepreneur that's trying to figure out their business too, i.e. a new grower, someone that just got their growing application, right? Yep. And y'all trying to work out deals. Y'all don't really know what terms is right because you never worked in the market. Mm-hmm. And you're trying to figure out, okay, well, how are we going to move it there? Like, who has a delivery license? Who has a distribution license? Will an MSO move it? So you're doing all that. Yep. Just trying to get product to open. Or you can call up the 6, 7, whatever amount of MSOs in the state and say, give me a little from you, a little from here, a little from here. And as the cultivation and the manufacturing licenses get up and running, you start diversifying your product. Yep. Right? And I get that. The argument is everyone has the same menu because everyone's just buying from the MSOs. Yeah. But the stores exist. Yeah. You can't argue that side. New York State has 60 legal dispensaries, 40 MSO ones that only sell medicinal, 20 rec. Yeah. They don't even have the stores open. At Jersey, at least, the menus are all the same. But the stores are opening. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. The menus will change, but the stores are opening. Yeah. That's a great point. Because convenience is a big part of it. And it's for a lot of people that are very adamant about getting their legal weed, they have to go pretty far depending on where they live. Yeah, like even here in Jersey, there's still 3 counties that don't have a dispensary open yet in them. Yeah. People have to applicate to go through the processes, but there's 3 that just don't. I know Salem, Sussex, and one other one. Salem is small, so whatever, but Sussex County is a big county, and it touches New York State, right out, it touches Woodbury Commons, and it touches PA. So you have 2 medicinal states with this big county sitting there that still doesn't have any dispensaries open, but I know a couple that are about to open, so that's good. New York is way out there, like
New York. All right. This is my opinion. Mm-hmm. You know, the rumored time for this secondary rollout was supposed to be October, right? So my theory, look, I'm
conspiracy theorist.
My theory is that, well, it's not really a theory. Just the point that if they would have opened the next round and just said, like, it's a free-for-all, like, there is no prioritization of any type of certifications or disadvantaged group or anything. It's just we did this process this way, and now it's open for business. right?
Yeah.
No one really knew what they were going to do. I never heard any talk about there being like a tiered system like it is in Jersey where like based on the certifications, there's like prioritization levels.
It's a point system,
yeah. I never heard anything about New York doing it like that. So my feeling is that group was like, if this new rollout comes, we're really never going to have a greater chance than the average person. Right? Because there's no, it's just like now it's a free for all. And the fact of the matter is the same way that they made that first prioritization, they definitely needed to do that. So I just don't understand why all those brilliant people up there, somebody didn't say, this first round, let's do this like this. This second round, let's do this with diverse groups that can furnish certifications that are given by the state. And this final group be the public, and if there's anything left or any municipalities left or whatever.
Or that, well, now it's buyout time, but yeah.
Right. But why would you not just do it like that, right? And if the argument is, oh, well, we were going to do that or we were going to say that, you took too fucking long. Yeah. You took too fucking long because people want to know what's happening, Corey. People want transparency. This is the reason why I had to get out of government, because I like to just tell it how it is. Like, I get that some things people don't like and some things people do like, but I think people could always respect the truth. And I think generally people can understand that this is a brand new market. So it is, there are going to be a lot of kinks that need to be worked out, but explain to people what's going on and why you're doing what you're doing and how you're doing it and how you intend to do it so that people can then, because also like people got to get their ducks in a row. This is not an easy process to just like jump into.
My only wrench I'll throw into that was, then why couldn't they put an injunction on new applications and those that were already approved get to open up? Instead of stopping the whole market of anything opening, they could have stopped any new application.
New applicants. That too.
Right? So that's
there was a million ways to go around it.
There was different ways to handle that by different parties of that. So, the last thing I'll say is what it does is when you allow, I know, on a soapbox, but when you allow the MSOs to at least lead it, to not like completely own it, like Jersey has its rules with the MSOs, they can only have 3 dispensaries. That's to stop them from just building out the whole state and not leaving space. But
which is fair.
And they have to give favorable things towards the independents, like dropping their minimum order quantities, MOQs, to help those stores actually facilitate opening.
Jersey did a lot of things
good. But the other thing it allows is...
They did a lot of things wrong too, but they did a lot of things
If
good.
you don't do it the way Jersey did it, you don't have the Mud Brothers.
Yeah.
Right? You don't have these third-party brands, smaller brands, able to come into the market early and get a part of the pie.
Yeah, and thrive,
If you don't have the MSOs and these bigger grows that have additional resources and products and marketing team. Like, don't get it twisted. Like, cannabis marketing is hard as hell because most things block it.
Yes.
So cannabis companies have these full marketing teams. They have these full, they every when you go into a dispensary, they're taking your email address, they're doing all this different stuff. They're pushing out stuff on social media, pushing out stuff to your emails, the phones, to Leafly, right, to all these different things trying to market. So if you have a brand, and you're trying to make a brand, and you go to them, so I need y'all to help me build it, y'all do the splits, and you get in, now you're in early, right? Like, and they did some of the work. They helped you with your packaging. You already had dispensaries to do your rollout plan. They already had the wholesale distribution set up for you. All you had to do was stay fly and build a brand, right? And do good selection. You go into the grow, you pick out the plants you want, you pick out the rosin you want, you pick out this you want, and you work in that collaboration, right? Like, that doesn't exist the way New York's trying to do it. And that's why it still don't exist. All the stuff is the black market. And why you're seeing people like Mud Brothers able to do it in Jersey and really get in so early. Think of it. There's only 3 brands of rosin in the state. There's basically Breakwater, which is only medical. There's Haze, which is made by Air. And there's Mud Brothers. The 3rd rosin brand in the state is 2 black dudes, our people. That happens because you allowed the MSOs to get set up.
I hate agreeing with you on MSO talk.
It's true. Listen.
It is true. I'm not gonna. If you're right, you're right. I'm not gonna. You're right.
It's just what it is.
You're right.
you have to have controls on it because trust me, MSOs will fuck it up. That's what's going to happen with Florida, by the way, because they don't have any limits on how many dispensaries MSOs can have.
Yeah, they're going to go crazy.
You allow it to happen to get the market going. You put a lot of controls on it, and then be very social equity certifications and stuff right after that to get that moving. Like literally, the state of New Jersey has a new dispensary opening every week.
You know what? Let me not criticize Jersey as much. When I really analyze not only New York but other states too, Jersey really, really did do it good. I think my biggest complaint about Jersey is that they're slow. And the reason
they didn't build it out big enough. They weren't ready for the capacity.
Yes. And with that, I think the failure is that they didn't allocate enough funds to the CRC to hire the right people and the amount of people that they need to move this along swiftly.
Well, I don't think they realized how many people smoke weed and how much money and income they were going to get from the tax dollars, right?
I know.
They're like, oh, it's not going to be that big. It's not big. It's like, no, everyone smokes weed. And now there's millions of dollars flowing, and y'all just can't get some admins to push the paper through.
Yeah.
But the other side of that is,
I caught it that time.
States' poor handling of this kind of stuff is like what we saw last week, or 2 weeks for y'all, where Tilt, another MSO, mostly in shitty markets that don't have good controls, that the market's just going to shit, and they dropped all of their social equity brands.
That's crazy.
In one shot.
That's crazy.
So they dropped Her Highness, they dropped Ricky Williams, Heisman, then they dropped Black Buddha, which is Roz McCartney's.
Yeah.
So they dropped all three of them in Pennsylvania, Massachusetts. Very horrible markets, but very cheap markets. Good for the customers. Bad for actually owning something, right? But they dropped them all. That's wild.
Did they ever say what the reason was?
I don't think legally they're gonna say too much. But the reality is, to drop 3 social equity brands in one shot is wild.
Something fishy.
Listen, they're hurting on money. They're probably hurting on money because of the markets they're in.
I'm not a conspiracy theorist.
And then they probably can't afford the upkeep of those brands. Those brands probably doing okay, well, not really their fault because they're in really bad markets. So they might be a break-even. And for Tilt, break-even is losing.
Right.
When you're in big commercial cannabis, you need to be seeing 30% returns, 40%. Like, they got a lot of debt to pay off for all the buildings and all the build-out.
Yes.
So, but if that's wild to say, hey, we're just going to cut our social equity division, right? It was kind of like watching Fortune 500 companies the year after George Floyd, right? And watch them lay off all their diversity DEI employees and not actually donate the money they said they was the summer before. Yeah, like somehow cannabis MSOs have turned into that. Yeah.
I wonder how they're gonna explain that. I want to hear what that story is going to be.
They might not have to. You only got to explain it if you want to stay open in that state. Listen, don't get it twisted. Like, look at what's happening. You had Cresco try to buy Columbia Care, right? Cresco's big dog. They can buy whoever they want. They try to buy Columbia Care. They can't really agree on the numbers of it because the markets they were getting into by buying Columbia Care, a lot of them sucked. And are like anchor markets, as in like losing money. They're anchoring your profits. So then Columbia Care sets up another side deal to sell it to Combs Enterprises, Diddy. And what markets are they giving them? All the shitty markets. New York, Massachusetts, and another one. New York's, we just said, is fucked. Massachusetts, already oversaturated, right? But even that can't get the deal through. They still can't agree. They canceled the deal, which automatically drops Diddy from getting it. Diddy got handed a life preserver.
Yes.
Spending $300 million on only 3 markets and shitty markets.
Trash.
Yeah, so like he better get on his Al Harrington Viola shit and just work them back from deals into each market independently. Instead of just buying a chunk.
Yeah.
But
he probably just wanted to make it easy.
But that's how bad these markets is that even an MSO can't get a deal through. Right? MedMen lost their deal with Ascend. Ascend was going to buy MedMen out of New York. They couldn't come to terms, and in the time they didn't come to terms, OCM changed the rules, devalued the shit, they dropped the deal. Right? Like, it's there. It's easy to see.
That was when you were...
Hey, I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay.
Right? So, I'm at where I'm at.
I like this fit, by the way.
Thank you.
You were talking, I was looking at you, and I was like, this is a really nice outfit he has
cute.
on.
I'm
yeah.
cute.
And these shirts are nice.
Got these grays coming in, but I'm cute.
Oh, no, you still look good, boo.
Yeah, thank you. But yeah, like these markets suck. Even the MSOs can't sell them shits.
Word.
And now you got to fight for scraps. And then people that actually have made reputable brands. You know, we've met the woman that started Her Highness and all that. Like, we've met these people. They're out there. They're, you know, kissing babies, shaking hands, right? And they're doing innovative stuff, right? The whole thought process is very different than how you think of an MSO. And then, boom, drop them. Hopefully somebody else picks them up.
There's a war going on out here.
Come to NECAN. But
yes.
But yeah, it's just it's wild. That's why it's like, as much as I'd like to criticize Jersey, you know, it takes time. We're here going through it.
Yeah.
At least that stuff's not happening. The stores are actually opening. You've already seen MSOs help and work with brands to get independently owned, black-owned brands out in the market. You know, that's not happening in these other markets, as you can see.
Yeah, Jersey is slow. They're slow. They probably didn't put enough
resources.
They didn't put enough resources and have a large enough budget for the personnel that they needed to hire for that, you know, particular regulatory group. And I will say the other complaint is that I feel like they could have tempered. I mean, the black market is not bad here, but if they would have moved faster, then they would have tempered it faster too.
Yeah.
And also the prices, because the prices are. That's what the consumer is complaining about, that the prices are high.
Yeah. Well, what I'll say is, it is very expensive to build out, especially when you're building out a full vertical like an MSO. It's very expensive, right? You got to build all this shit, all this real estate, all the paperwork, documents, employees, and they're usually doing it when it's still medical.
Yeah,
that's the part people aren't realizing. They're building out on a promise, like the money's not coming in.
Right.
MSOs operating in medical markets that are not Florida are usually losing money, right? So they got to build out something grandiose for a very small market, for the potential of the market blowing up when it goes rec.
Right.
And you get situations like New York that sat dormant and medical for a long time. PA, that's still medical to the point where companies are going to start pulling out of that.
Yeah.
Right? Massachusetts went rec early and then didn't give anyone a license for a year. And so these companies are spending hundreds of millions of dollars on markets potential to blow.
Yep.
Right. So when they get the first go to open, the price is going to be high. They got to pay, they're paying back money.
Yeah.
Right. You know, but
that's true.
Yeah, the price is high,
true.
but that money is going back into the state. The state is taxing them.
Yeah.
They're the biggest creator of jobs. Is it like cannabis was like number 3 biggest creator of jobs the past year in the country?
I believe it.
Right.
I believe it.
Funding shitloads of money into the economy
Paying
with
well,
taxes.
too.
And their jobs. These are mostly, especially for MSOs, unionized jobs, high-paying, low education needing jobs with full benefits. You can't name another industry that shows up, gives you, $20 plus jobs for anyone 21 or up with full benefits.
Yep.
And some of them got 401ks. They're not paying you back on it. And also, a lot of them were giving out stock options. Yep. A lot of people's first time ever having stock was working for an MSO.
Yep.
It's just the truth, right? Like, the sanitation person, the tech one off the street, no experience sanitation person makes $21 an hour at some of these MSOs.
Yep.
Like, you can't find that.
Go get you a job.
Big facts. There's plenty of jobs in weed right now.
The only other thing is I also feel like, and I think this is also a funding issue probably, but there was not enough, it's not funding. I think that no one considered the educational component because the state did not have a better handle on municipalities. And I felt like they sort of ran amok with how they wanted to approach it based on what their interpretation of the legislation was.
Yeah.
And all of the ordinances that they all crafted in different municipalities and townships were all super varied.
Yep.
There was no uniformity of the process in any place that you went. So if you hopped around at different places, and we started in Hoboken and then dabbled in Atlantic City, and it was a process, and they're all sort of the same but different. And it got kind of wild with who can get it, where you can get it, what the rules were, if the community came out, and people were complaining to the state, and it was sort of like the state didn't have really too much opinion on what to say. And the other piece of it is that when they started to build these bodies in the municipalities and townships to sit on boards, to craft the ordinances, to interpret this new space, no one knew what they were talking about. Like, no one knows weed. So that's the biggest problem. Like, I feel like they really needed to funnel education or like a liaison on the state level. And they did say that they have that now. It's like one or two people that are like, go to the municipality to like talk to them about stuff, but they needed a lot of that.
Yeah, well, let's be honest. Black people saved the state on that.
What you mean?
All right, so for the longest, really, the only education you could get in Jersey is 420 NJ events or Hetty NJ.
That's true.
Right? Those are your two biggest sources of New Jersey cannabis information, besides going on Reddit. Is those two sites, right? Sites and editorials. They didn't have a certification program or work release of any type program. But I understand create MCA.
Yep.
Now the union, the UOCW, is trying to build their own MCA to do that. And now the
and
state is trying to build their own thing too. MCA been running.
Yeah.
Right? By the way, MSOs fund these organizations.
That's
all
true
of these
too.
organizations. But like, think of if none of that existed. MCA, 420 NJ, Hetty NJ. Like, I watch Hetty NJ. I'm honestly reading all the stuff.
Yeah.
That's how you keep up with everything going on in the state instead of just your area.
Yep.
What if that didn't exist? There'd be nothing in the state. The stuff that the state is doing now is copying off of those, especially MCA. They're blatantly copying off of MCA. So the union, UOCW, and the state. What if it didn't exist? They probably still wouldn't have it built. To be honest.
Yeah, I mean think of that.
They
gave them a great infrastructure to sort of.
Yeah,
it's a good example.
So
it's a great model.
Yeah, you got to keep that a buck. Like the cannabis culture and these same black and brown people that are now trying to get open are the people that really even let the state start last year.
Yeah.
Right. So as bad as the education is, it could have been worse.
That's true.
Right? It could have been a lot worse.
And you know what? Not for nothing, saying that really speaks to, the camaraderie in the state, to be honest, because it's like the state went wreck and the outside came together and like supported what the state was doing on a large scale. You know, because there are all the people, like everyone pretty knows the people that are like involved in the industry at this point for like at least the past, I'll say solid 4 years, which is like a mix of this process that we've been going through and then the medical process, right, that started. And everyone sort of knows like the people or the players. And I feel like that took off without the state's prompting. Yeah,
you had a couple organizations, like different kind of state, trying to make insular state organizations.
Yeah. Like the associations and
stuff.
Yep.
And they start doing events, so now you start meeting each other, building people, culture, community, understanding that, you're going through the same thing I'm going through, and this is how we got passed. You got a cure letter. We did too. All that kind of stuff, right? And then at the same time, you have a couple people do the 420 NJs, the Hetty.coms, MCA for the schooling. And now you have a whole insular industry. And the only thing they're waiting is they don't actually have fucking stores or licenses to do anything. Right?
Us with a podcast.
Yeah, with podcasts.
Talking about the stuff, right?
So that's what I mean. That's probably their biggest failure, is that.
Yeah.
It's just not having it ready to go and having, the reality is the state doesn't have to do anything. The state could just make the MSOs do it. To maintain their vertical license status, they will do whatever the state tells them to do.
Yeah.
Right? Like I'm saying, you can go watch the videos of MSOs getting the renewals this year All of them just got the renewal license for the new year, and I bet all of them said MCA during that.
Yep.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
All right, what are you doing to give back? We work with MCA. Cool. Like that line number one of getting your renewal in New Jersey. Is just say you work at MCA. Right? So how could
and around this time last year, we were calling him and being like, you know, everyone is saying your name.
No, like niggas, they saying your name. I don't know if you know all these people, but they saying it. You need to go pick up some checks. But for real, think about that.
Oh my God.
The industry wouldn't have any journalism from a cannabis standpoint that's state specific. You wouldn't have any training program for employees. And you also wouldn't have these associations and organizations. And also none of the MSOs, the ones that are already open, would be able to say anything at their social equity thing.
Yep.
It'd be real hard renewing them licenses if MCA didn't exist. That's a fact.
Yep.
So, right, and, then everyone just does the expungement clinic. But shout out to the canna lawyers. Another people of that group that are really making the market exist.
Yep.
Exist from a cultural standpoint, while the Illuminati part of it makes it exist from a physical standpoint. And within a year, we'll see how that blend changes. The MSOs will have to drop the price because the prices will drop.
Yep.
There'll be a little bit of saturation. They'll probably see a handful more black and brown owned brands come through, whether they're working with independent growers or MSOs, whatever, right? And New York will still be trying to figure out how to get their next license out. That's a fact.
Why he had to end there.
It's fucked up, man. It's foul. I feel for them dudes. Shout out to our people from Card, Jeremy, Kaz, Jason.
Shout out to the Turp Bros and Conbud. Yo, that's crazy. Yeah, we got much love for you guys. And shout out to New Jersey, because honestly, I hope people really pick apart what we just said. And the reality is that we really did come together. It took everybody doing something different, a piece of something. It's how you build culture. It's how you build community.
Yeah.
An industry is forming here, and it's really taking all hands. And, we can't beat on the state too much, especially when, when it comes to big government, a lot of it is about funding and backing and, buy-in. And there wasn't a tremendous amount of buy-in for this either, right? Mm-hmm. So you're sort of working with doing a lot with a little, which is very government-oriented. So, I hope they speed up for the community's sake and the people who want it, us who want to stop paying rent on empty buildings.
Facts.
Please. But I really can't say that they've done it too bad. When you look at other places, Jersey is really, really something to be proud of.
It's been one of the better ones in the country.
And
that's why it's such a strong market. Illinois is probably the most profitable market for a lot of companies. But yeah.
Did Illinois have a similar way that Jersey did it?
Yeah, they had a good, okay medical market, and then it kind of sat there for a second, but when it hit, like I remember Illinois turned on like it seemed like a day. It was like a snap. It was just like, oh, it's rec now. It was like, oh shit, let's go, right? But because the difference of them and a lot of the states were originally ran by the Department of Health. New York was like that. Jersey. Illinois is ran by the Department of Agriculture. So they treat the fact that you got a cannabis crop like a crop.
Okay.
And they are super strong on cleanliness of your building. They come and audit your facility every week in Illinois.
Wow.
And the rules on how they grow, pesticides when you can't even touch the plant anymore. Basically, the second the plant shows any level of like maturity from a growth standpoint, converting into flower mode, you can't touch that plant anymore.
Wow.
No spraying it or doing you can't do nothing. It just grow.
Wow.
And then you got to pass testing, and it's the Department of Ag auditing you, not health.
Right.
So they're a little bit more keen on all that stuff. So that market is really nice and cool. But yeah, it's sad. And to those of you that feel like I'm out here preaching MSOs, I think there's a world where both need to exist. The reality is, unless you buying it off the black market, 9 times out of 10 you're buying from MSO. It don't matter if you're buying the Mike Tyson ear gummies that's made by Verano, Aero, Edible, Edie Parker, Aero, 1906, all made by MSOs. Cookies in New Jersey, made by MSO. Gauge in New Jersey, made by MSO. That is how the market gets started. That's just math. That's just understanding business.
Yep.
You got to get over that shit.
A lot of people don't know that the cookies is made at MSO.
You went to the MSO dispensary and was like, I want all the other brands because I don't want that MSO weed. And all that shit is grown in the same grow.
They'd be like, but I want that cookies, though.
I want the cookies. Yes, we understand. But TerraSend is growing the cookies brand.
Right.
Dummy.
Oh, listen. State of the Union. Jalen, make it look crazy. State of the Union. It's crazy. It's been a year. A lot of stuff has happened. And as you see, we got some complaints. We got some wins. We got some wonderful things going on. Nican, please make sure that you come. It's going to be a fucking blast. You are going to be very, very sad if you don't come. I promise you. You're going to be sad because it's going to be a great time. And what was the other thing? Like, comment, subscribe.
Hit the button.
Nican. Sweat's opening.
Is opening 9/16 in Jersey City, Central Ave, 317 Central Ave, Jersey City, New Jersey.
If you be on my gram, you be seeing me dusty, dirty. I'm putting in some work over there.
Big yoga vibes, big salt cave vibes, big what's the irradiation? I don't know that
infrared sauna.
Infrared sauna.
It's the best.
You know what I mean? All that.
It's
Reiki, the sound bowls things.
Everything.
They got all that.
Everything. Come heal, please. September 16th. So that's all I got. We're not gonna do You Don't Know Jack today. I'm good. I think that this is. Are you killing me? Is it done? Did you turn it off?
Oh. Yo, you gotta stop touching shit. Stop touching stuff while we recording. It's all good. All right. Shout out to Jalen, our producer.
Yes,
go Cowboys.
We love him. What was the ending again?
You got me fucked up.
I know. Thank you for tuning in. Look at Jalen. Thank you for tuning in this week. Now I sound like a robot.
Nope.
Just say peace.
I knew my part.
That's what I get for making such a long